Timbits time. Yesterday, all 8 teams unveiled their first 16 players for the World Cup of Hockey. In terms of NHL representation, the Bolts and Hawks lead the charge. The Bruins, Wings, and Caps all have 7 players taking part. And as far as Canadian clubs are concerned, the Jets, Canucks, Habs, and Oilers all had 4 players selected each. And speaking of the Oilers,
Nail Yakupov, high draft pick, in this case first overall, who hasn't lived up to expectations.
Handful of teams with interest. Precarious spot for Peter Chiarelli.
Nail Yakupov has been informed that he will not be traded.
When you're looking at a player like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, you're talking about a significant asset. Is there a market for him? I believe there is a market for him.
We focus in on the 23 and under team from North America, and one big omission there, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
That tells you what his GM thinks of him.
Frank Saravalli's in Philadelphia with the Oilers today. He spoke with GM Peter Chiarelli and RNH of the Morning Skate and now joins us. Frank, we saw what happened with Eisman not picking St. Louis for the Olympics in 2014. What, if anything, can we read into RNH's future with the Oil since Chiarelli didn't include him in his list of the first 16 for Team North America?
Well, Peter Chiarelli said it would be nonsense to link Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' future with the Oilers to this decision to not have him among the first 16 players for Team North America in the 2016 World Cup of Hockey. But how could you not? We already knew that the Oilers had dangled Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in a possible trade talk with the Nashville Predators for Seth Jones, and it's particularly damning that the Oilers couldn't get Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on this roster with both Peter Chiarelli acting as the co-GM and Todd McClellan as the coach. Let's face it, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has not had the best season this year, but JT Miller hopes that he could be the player that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is right now. He has only 4 more points than Nugent-Hopkins despite playing 17 more games this season, and Nugent-Hopkins is a much more complete player, yet Miller was the guy that was selected to the team. And I know that these were only the first 16 players that were named to the roster, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins could well be among that group when this is all said and done in June, but the Edmonton Oilers did not do Ryan Nugent-Hopkins any favors, and the optics of this are terrible, and we would not be shocked at all if Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is among the exodus from the Oil this summer.
But more to the moment, let's talk about tonight. And this is Edmonton's first game against the Flyers since November the 3rd when Connor McDavid collided with Brandon Manning at the end boards and fractured his collarbone. What are you expecting from tonight?
Probably not any fireworks, and that's because Brandon Manning will not be in the lineup for the Flyers. He is a healthy scratch tonight. But people in Edmonton certainly did not forget that hit back on November 3rd that fractured that collarbone, which was really more of an accident than anything else. Manning ended up receiving death threats and all sorts of other lewd comments from fans on social media after one broadcaster suggested that it was on purpose. Connor McDavid downplayed that situation again at today's morning skate and says that he has no hard feelings toward Manning.
All right, Frank Saravalli has joined us from Philadelphia.